Welcome to The Truth About Alcohol. I am Davy, your host, and this is a podcast for people who know something about their drinking doesn't quite add up and they want to understand why stopping can feel so much harder than it should. There's no labels, there's no judgments. This is just a place for honest conversations about alcohol and change. Now today, I want to talk about a moment that might not look that dramatic, but it is one of the most dangerous moments in the entire drinking cycle. And it's the gap between finishing work and whatever comes next. Not work, not home, but that space in between the two. The drive, the commute on the train, standing outside your front door, sitting in the car for just a few minutes extra before you go into the house, stopping at the bottle shop without really thinking. And nothing bad has happened yet, but your body already knows something is coming. And what most people don't realize is this moment, it's not about alcohol, it's about safety. Now, most people think that their default setting is conscious choice. Like we know what we're doing in any given moment. I don't think that's true. I do think that when we're born, our default setting is that we are in self-energy, that we are open, that we're curious, that we're responsive. But this is when we're children. Over time, I think the world gets its claws on us. Community, culture, the way that your parents interact, your school teachers, right? And over time, that default mechanism, it gets replaced by a dominant part, what's called a protector part, okay? A responder. So I believe that our default state, if we don't choose to be conscious, is very unconscious, okay? The thing that acts before you think is very automatic. Now, in Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, he talks about the space between stimulus and response. Stimulus, oh my God, I feel really uncomfortable about going into my house. Response, I'm going to stop at the pub and have a beer. And that space between stimulus and response, that's where freedom lives. And for most people who suffer from alcohol reliance, that space has collapsed. Work finishes, the nervous system is charged, and the body says, just do the thing that works. That's the default setting. That's the beast. And it's not evil. It doesn't mean you're broken. It's just very fast, very rapid, very unconscious. And also, unfortunately for us, it's very efficient. And alcohol has always been, for many moons, the most reliable tool of this protector part. Now, here's why this moment is so loaded. Work really drains us, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally, okay? Even if the day went well. Imagine the day went really, really well, and you can't wait to get home to talk about it, to process it, to be seen. But what if the people at home don't want to hear about what went on in work, right? Maybe it went really badly for you, and you want to disappear, you want to shut down. You don't want to be touched, you don't want to communicate with another human being. Or maybe it's not like a Monday to Friday living, as it's a Monday to Friday sort of dying, which Studs Terkel coined that phrase in the book Working. A Monday to Friday sort of dying. Maybe for you, work is soulless. Pointless emails, pointless meetings, performing a version of yourself you don't recognize, right? So for you, work is soulless. And then you come home. And the thing is about home isn't neutral. Home doesn't know what you want. Home doesn't know what state your nervous system is. Home doesn't know how your day's gone. Home is a place where there are kids, and kids want you. They want your time. They want your attention. They want to play with you. Maybe you have a partner at home that takes over the responsibility of looking after the children, and suddenly they want relief. They want you to look after the kids, right? Maybe they want you to make dinner. Well, I don't know. But energy shifts immediately. And if you live alone, it's okay. You can just go in, you can collapse, right? You don't have to separate roles per se, right? But if you don't, and you have children, and you have partners, and you have mums and dads and brothers and sisters, you're needed. You're needed to facilitate and act responsibly and consciously in other roles. And your nervous system, it hasn't landed yet. And that gap between work ending, even if you work at home and stepping out of one office into the kitchen table, right? I work at home, and this is the same for me. I'm now in my man cave. I have to leave my man cave when I finish work and go downstairs into my home, right? So that gap between work ending and home beginning, that is where safety is either created or you outsource it. And if you outsource it, this is where people usually go one or two ways, right? Option one, you walk through the door, kid jumps over to you, grabs over your ankle, says, Dad, play me, play me, play me. Or your partner just comes over to you and puts the baby in your hands, right? And you walk through and you're like, well, hang on a minute. I just want to go to the fridge and I just want to get myself a drink. Not to celebrate, not to escape, but to smooth the landing between leaving work and coming into the house. And because you're so focused on getting that beer or that wine or whatever it is from that fridge or the bar in your house, you're short, you're irritable, you're flat, your energy is all over the place. You're down deep, deep, deep below the line, giving off this energy of leave me alone, right? Leave me alone. And that is not a good energy to be around when your partner or your kids are just seeing you for the first time in the day. Option two, you actually stop before you get home. You go to the pub or you go to the off license and you buy yourself some beer, right? Just one quick one. Or, as I used to do when I was going home from work, a quick 3, okay? And here's the painful part of stopping off at a pub to numb yourself that nobody likes to talk about. That version of you that arrives home slightly buzzed, that is often, it feels like it's easier to be around. It feels to you like the weight of the load is lightened. And your kids are happier because you're a little buzzed and you're a little kind of loose. You're sillier, you're more present with them. But it gives everybody false hope because it's rented safety. And the bill will always come later. Now, this isn't a discipline issue. It's not a character flaw. It's a missing transition. Your nervous system is being asked to move from one role straight into another, with no decompression. So the dominant part of your psyche, it steps in and says, I've got this because it feels right, feels unsafe going into the lion's den. I've got this. Alcohol, let's just drink. And alcohol becomes the bridge until you find a different one. So the goal is not to be stronger. The goal is to interrupt that automatic response. Right? That automatic response where you are being parts led and your brain is like, when I go home, I need to get a drink before I communicate with my family. So you have to widen the gap again. You have to notice that you've finished work and you need to check in. You need to get out of your head into your body and you need to check in on how your body feels. Because very often when you finish work, your body won't feel safe yet. And that awareness alone changes so much, because once the moment is seen, your choice comes back online. Maybe not perfectly, but enough for you to make a different decision. So here's what I want you to do for me, if you would honor me this wish. And it really matters, right? Don't analyze, don't explain, but just notice that at some point this week, when your work ends, I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions. Where am I? What time is it? How does my body feel right now? Is the jaw tight? Is the chest heavy? Is the gut feeling tight? Am I feeling restless, numb? Am I irritable? Am I angry? Am I happy? Am I sad? And then message me at thestrivemethod@gmail.com, right? Message me or comment somewhere on social with one sentence. After work at X time, I feel Y in my body. That's it. No story, no fixing. We start by stabilizing the moment where alcohol usually wins. Because when safety is restored there, everything downstream from that changes in a positive light. And you don't lose to alcohol at night. You lose or win in the gap before it. That is what I want you to remember today. Much love. Strive on, everybody. Until the next time. See you then.